Lopez? No, Mr. Lopez. Did you guys reach out to Mr. Lopez?
Yes, we did. He said he had dropped the class.
He dropped the class. All right. So Mr. Lopez, who hasn't done the paperwork to drop a class, apparently dropped the class. Fantastic. Mr. Newquest,
Right.
what role did you play?
I was a user.
You were the user. Fantastic. Mr. Novak,
Yeah,
what role did you play?
that was the iteration.
The iteration planner, probably.
Yeah.
Wasn't it planner? Maybe you're the iteration manager, but if so, you just created a brand new role.
Fancy.
And Mr. Pans, what role did you play, sir?
I was a user story scribe.
User story scribe. Fantastic. Team, take it away.
Alright. So, we're in the Illinois driving school, and I hired these lovely folks to make my program. As a user, I went up to my friend Joey over there, and I told him I wanted a program that should check to see that the students. Okay, so the preface is we're a driver school that does like ticket corrections. So if you got a speeding ticket, driving without a license, or not stopping, you would have to go to this driver school to like get the points off your license. And we need to collect that information, and you have to watch videos and take a test, and so on. Boring, all in there. So I told the programmers that I wanted the program to have the ability to check that each student watched the proper videos, but in any particular order. So if you say we're speeding, you would have to watch 4 videos, and I want you to be able to check, but they can watch any of the 4 videos in any order. I also want the ability to sort the students based off the 3 ticket types, so I can go through and see which each one was. Also, I want there to be a time limit, so you only have a week to take the course. Alright, and my way of checking that they watch the videos is the videos will have a digit code at the end, and then when you're going through the information, you have to insert that digit code. So that's how we would check to make sure that you watched them. You should also be able to track the progress of the students, and okay, at the end, it has to send an email to the state saying this student completed the course, and then they send an email back. It's like, we got this, and I need that to be all official looking for its state record. And of course, it should be free of funds for everyone.
Alright, so after I went and talked with the people over here, I developed these pseudo-user stories where I was talking with them, just to make, writing the actual user stories an easier process. So basically when I was talking with them, what I got from them was the program should be able to check and see if the user viewed the video or completed the test. Simple enough. The program should be able to check that the ticket the user received and sort the work that the student needs to do accordingly. The program should be able to display students' progress during the course. The program says doing the course, which after talking with the user is set to be a week. And on completion of the program, it needs to send an email to the state, write the student, and it needs to receive an email from the state for the student's record. You know that I was able to activate the user stories for the past person. Those are create time limit for completing the course for a week, send an email to the state. What?
It's not
there. Then send an email to the state telling them to finish the course, receive email, and have questions from the record. Check if the user's viewed video, complete a test with the code, check the type of ticket the user received, and so for recording, and display the student's progress throughout the course.
So this is where the task graph is stuff. Who is gone? No text from him last night, no text from him this morning. So should we still go over to this, or?
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Who are we talking about here?
Brandon Lemos.
Okay, I apologize, guys. I forgot to figure out. So he was your task scribe, is that correct? Now, what's the story in Brandon? Was he participating in your meeting? Is it basically just today, last night and today he's gone, or
Yeah, he was here on Tuesday, and like he actually wrote the stuff, but
he just vanished?
just vanished.
I fully understand that stuff happens and stuff like that. Why don't you just go over this as to the best of your ability?
Okay.
Fully understand that this is really his area.
So what he really did was break down the user stories into more manageable tasks. So our task one is check to be implemented at the end of each video. So we came up with a randomly generated 5-digit passcode to equal a certain value. That passcode is then typed into the program, and then that's our verification for you watching the video. Okay, task 2, verifying the type of ticket. So when you're inputting your original information, that's when it's going to check to see what kind of ticket you got. Speeding, failure to stop, or driving without a license. Then it will give you the proper videos and tests you need from that. Then a progress report. So I want to be able to check in on the students to see how much they've done so far. Since they only have a week to do it, they kind of need to get on it. So I want to be able to go and be like, oh hey, they've got 3 videos done in one test, and they have a video and a test together. Then task 4, just be able to lock the students out after a week if they did not get to the finish, if they did not finish. Yeah, the email. It needs to email the state that the student has finished the course, then receive an email back, and everything is smooth. Alright.
As the iteration planner, I worked with Brandon and took his tasks that he put together and figured out how long they would take and planned iterations based on how many days and how many work days they would take. And I came up with that the first iteration would have the random number generator passcode and a sorting system that sorted them based on which kind of ticket they got, and we can watch which videos based on that. And the second iteration included the rest of everything that had the progress report, the lockout after 1 week, and the email to the state and the receipt of them. And then there has to be a third iteration based on user feedback, because you can't just give them this and say, all right, we're done. So, tasks in the first iteration included the random number generator, which would take 7 days, and the sorting system creation and the implementation would take 10 days. And then the second iteration included the progress report, which would take 3 days, the 1 week lockout, which would take 4 days, and the email to the state and the receipt email to the student, which would take 3 days.
Is that it?
Yep, we didn't have a bug checker.
I fully understand. Okay, so quick question. How long were your iterations?
About 3 days.
About 20 days? Because it looks like you have,
The first
what?
one was 17, and the second one was, no,
10.
10.
Gotcha. And I guess to a certain extent, after you did your first iteration, potentially you'd also have bugs, right?
Yeah.
And so you could use some of the, obviously 10 isn't quite 20, right? But you could at least use some of the remaining time that you had to fix bugs and such like that. Do we have questions for Team Illinois' driving school?
I mean, do you think it would take us 7 days to do an RG type thing? I don't know. I worked with Brandon, I don't know much about random number generators, so.
It's a good point, though. You would think that you could find a random number generator someplace, right? Seems like something somebody else might have written. Other questions? Going once, going twice. Team, good job. Thank you very much. Round of applause. All right, so we're talking about Team Pennsylvania. Mr. Pilkin, what was your role?
I was the tester.
You were the tester, fantastic. Mr. Roldan, what was your role, sir?
The task.
Task scribe. Task scribe. Excellent. Juan,
I was the user.
you were the user, okay. Mr. Soa,
I was the iteration planner.
iteration planner, excellent, fantastic. Mr. Stroh-Snyder, that leaves you, sir. What were you?
User stories, right?
User story scribe. Excellent. Gentlemen, take it away.
Alright, so our situation was, we got a client that's got pizza with a pizza joint in Pennsylvania, alright, and, we recently had a spot on TV, on Kansas TV program, so a lot of people started coming in with an influx of customers, and, now I need a team that can process all the orders we have and make sure that we do it in an efficient way, that make sure that none of the orders get messed up and misplaced and stuff like that. So as a user, I want to keep track of orders and make sure everything stays where it's supposed to be, so the customers get what they ordered and not somebody else order. So what I wanted was pizza and bread, sticks out and toppings. I wanted to get the customer name so I know who's ordering it, and I wanted the type of customer, so whether it's drive-through, online, walk-in, or call-in. And I wanted payment side, whether it be credit card, cash, check, and I wanted the customers to know how long it takes, so I wanted to wait time for that. And I wanted inventory check, so I wanted to see how cheese or pepperoni pizza in stock all the time. And I wanted a survey that they could take after they ordered it, so I could know what their experience was like.
Now, because our firm is actually a very small group, pretty much our entire team is up here right now. We didn't actually have a separate programmer. In fact, it was me and it was last Friday. It was me and Antonio being programmers, so we actually had two programmers that we had factored into this. Our tester did testing, but he didn't actually do programming. So, but we were very hands-on. We had to go back to our users several times in the iteration to make sure everything was right. So we didn't actually have very much downtime, but we also didn't get as much done as we could have.
When I went to meet with Juan, find out what he wanted for the program, figured out that he wants the program to take the customer's name, indicate the pizza size, indicate what toppings, the sausage, cheese, meat, vegetables, what size breadsticks they want, what flavor, like how they ordered online, walk-in, all that. What the wait time for their pizza is going to be, how they pay, and to make sure that they had at least
10 of
they had at least 10 of cheese and pepperoni pizzas at a time, and to send surveys to people that ordered online to get their feedback on what they are on their experience.
As the test driver, I took those user stories and put it into short tiles for the programmers. I took estimates of what prior days, estimates, and the priority of like the most important to least important of which task should be handled the most. So we have the customer's name, the pizza size, the toppings, the type of breadsticks, the customer, the ID customer and the payment type, the wait time, the pizzas are in stock, and the survey.
Alright, so. Alright, so as the iteration planner, I figured we'd have about 20 days to actually work on it. And because we have two programmers, myself and our task planner, we actually had a total of 40 development days. Now, our team, we're efficient, but we're not like ultra efficient just because we're so hands-on. So we had a 70% velocity. So we only actually had 28 days of actual programming time without meetings, replanning, rescheduling, meeting with our user to test things. The user did a lot of black box testing for us. So for our first iteration, which was about 28 development days, we had to indicate the pizza size, which took about 5 days to actually get done.
So just 2 seconds left. So indicate pizza size. That's fine. I think it's small, medium, large, right?
Yeah.
5 days for that? Really? I mean, SML?
That was the number I was given.
All right.
we might have had problems, but.
No, I think, the original task, it took us more to get to, so it's just,
We had an
Alright.
communication.
That's fine, I'm just double checking on that, it just seems like that
Yeah,
task,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, we had a slight, typo there.
That's fine, no problem, continue on, please.
We had 3 days to indicate all of the different toppings. We also had to get the customer's name, which took 2 days, because we had to figure out how to make it stored. Getting it wasn't that much of a problem, we had problems with database storage. We needed 3 days to get the type of present state, because there was 2 things there to get. Then we had the whole 15 days of bug fixing and testing, and it didn't work that well. It came out to 28 days of actual development time. So that was our first iteration. Second iteration, we took a little bit longer because we just didn't want to have to split this up into 2. But we had to make sure the pizzas were in stock, which took 1 day. It wasn't too hard. We had to get the customer. We had to get we had to get what the customer was doing, walk in, online order, as well as their payment type, which took a bit longer because we had to interface with Visa and MasterCard. We didn't do PayPal instead of that. We had to create a survey, which actually took the longest because our database went down, as well as the survey was very difficult. Trying to track down the online users because they didn't have an actual login. That was a little bit frustrating. And we had to establish a wait time, which took 4 days of development time. This one, I'm not entirely sure why it took a little bit longer. I think it had something to do with just how many data points we had to take that. Then we had 10 days of bug fixing, which was actually from our last iteration. We had some problems with the database after everything went through. It comes out of 29 days, slightly longer than our normal development cycle, but we did also take out a couple of our meetings. So we still managed to fit it in the actual 40 days of iteration. Okay, what our tester had concerns with, and then when we first started doing stuff.
you can just show them all. I thought it was very important that most of all when taking the customer's name, people have different names, some have hyphens, some have apostrophes. So I thought, first thing we should do is lowercase all characters so that we can run it through a streamlined system, so we can have all the names and not have any errors or bugs or any kind of differentiations in what the customer, how we're gonna identify who they are. Any numbers and special characters, we had to, show up red flags for those, like, hey, review this, is what we're gonna show, the person who's inputting the orders, look at this, see if this is correct, and then go through the system to do this. Large names, we had to take care of that too, we had to create a lot of space, especially if you're ordering online. We don't want their name to get cut off while they're ordering, so we say, Louis So, instead of Louis So. And if a customer wanted to order more than just one pizza, or more than one of the sauces, or more than the breadsticks, we had to create a separate outline code to be put in when they went online and indicate that they wanted a double order or several more orders of each. Selecting multiple toppings and cheeses, we don't want things to overlap. We don't want them to say we want double cheese twice or we want a double order of this and that. You don't want them to waste money, especially don't want to waste time. We have to verify emails and phone numbers, so we make sure that when it's ready, the customer knows what's up and when to come in, or to waste everybody's time as least as possible. Also wanted to worry about profane or inappropriate names when people input them in the online system. But I do, we don't want people typing in holy Greek or something like that to make it a little mess up. So I thought putting certain letters into a set, like FUCK or SHIT, and if the name contains those letters in the set in a certain way, then we can show up a red flag and have the order taker to review the name, and if it passes, the letter through. If it doesn't, we have to contact the customer and make sure, okay, are you sure you want to do this? And especially, most important, if the customer wants to change their info while the pizza's being made, we want to allow them to go back into the system and contact us and let them know, hey, this needs to be changed, I changed my mind, this is going on. That's it.
So, do you have any questions?
Going once. Excellent. So let's see, you guys ordered pizza. Hey, what happens if I call up and I just want breadsticks? Can you handle that?
We didn't get around to doing that yet. Now, we are going to provide continuous support for the program, in case something like that comes up. But in that case, currently our program can't handle that.
And if I just wanted a pizza, I guess you can handle that, right?
Yeah, they would just say no, for instance.
Questions? Going once, going twice? Round of applause, guys, good job, well done. All right, so we're talking about Team Ohio, scenario number 3, donut shop. On this team, we have Mr. Tallman. Mr. Tallman, what was your role, sir?
I was a tester.
Tester, excellent. Candace?
I got to be the user.
Oh my, okay, so you're the user. Kylie?
I was the user story scribe.
Okay, user story scribe. Excellent. Mr. Wrigley?
I was the
Iteration planner. And Mr. Young?
Well, you probably know already, but I was a task scribe.
Task scribe. Well, sometimes people make stuff up, so that is fantastic. All right, team, we want to know about the delicious and intriguing world of kale donuts. What can you tell us?
Alright, I'm the owner of Creamy Crisp Kale Donuts. We've enjoyed moderate success and all, but now everyone's on a health kick, so gotta go for the people. So we're making kale donuts. I'm also renaming the store. As of now, it's called Kale Yap. So we're excited to announce a new line of donuts made out of kale. Gross looking. Our company has been tasked, or the company has been tasked to create a new system to help produce, monitor, and all that stuff. What I want, the basic stuff is I want to have plenty of kale in stock, automatic orders, keeping track of my manufacturing process, estimate required kale donut output, and track of the kale donut type sales. So I also want other things though, because I'm a user. Make sure there are always kale donuts ready to be sold. Keep track of kale donut sales. I want to monitor which kale donut is selling the best. Create an employee of the month system. I want to let Creamy Crisp sell bagels too. That's my own. I call them sad donuts. Give returning customers a discount and let employees request the manufacturing process for like recipes.
Alright, so I met with Candace, and wrote down all of what she wanted for my company so that she could understand what we were doing and my company could understand what we were doing. But I also got, instead of creating my own priorities for these tasks, I asked her what the priorities for these tasks were. What she needed to have done first, and it was on a system of 1 to 5, with 1 being the highest and 5 being the lowest. So things that aren't necessarily going to happen right away, they might even happen in version 2. With the most important being that we check the kale, make sure it's good, that we have enough kale in stock, that we're ordering from the people with the best price and best quality. And then monitoring the process, with monitoring the kale as it goes through the process to make donuts, and then and making sure that there's enough donuts in stock, and then after that, all the little things like monitoring their employee sales, commission sales for each donut, that kind of stuff.
Alright, so, yeah, all the tests. So, I took user stories, broke down the specific tasks. They didn't necessarily get shorter, they got a little bit longer actually. But first things first, create a function. We're in a system that will add and subtract kale from the supply. So when we take stuff out of the warehouse, we'll subtract the amount of kale we've taken out. When new shipments come in, we'll add it back in. Both will return how much is left, so we always know how much is in at the same time. We're also going to check the storage in the shop and the warehouse. So if the amount of kale in the storage is less than 10 pounds, it's going to display a message, so hey, we need to order some more. In the warehouse, if it's less than 1 1/4 ton, it's going to display a similar message. making sure that the kale donuts aren't older than 2 days, kale doesn't stay fresh for very long, so we gotta make sure that stuff's not in there. Again, kale doesn't stay fresh for very long, so we have to make sure that none of it stays in the manufacturing process too long, it just messes up the donuts. Ordering new kale, we're gonna check the 3 local manufacturers, see which one has the best price. If they're the same price, then yes, it's been that, just take it over. We're gonna apply a list for kale donut type and regular donuts too, we can stop doing that. How much stock we have and the price for each one. We need to make sure the stock for any donut does not fall below 12. It does, we display a message saying you can stock. Basic cash register functionality. Yeah, bring up donuts. It'll have a sort of login system so the employees can log in and they'll track what employees sold what donuts and how much donuts they sold. Just, the performance of each employee. We'll have a list where all the transactions, type, quantity, how much were sold, what time they were sold, everything will be appended to a list. We'll have another bunch of functions. First function will add up total sales and combining them to get sales by type and overall sales for the whole day. Second function will multiply each kale donut type. From the first function by those big prices, you get daily income. Third function will add the total kale donut sales for each type, as well as general sales for the rest of the donuts to a running list. This whole thing will record how many kale donuts we've ever sold, by type, all that. The 10 steps for manufacturing a kale donut, we'll have that in a separate text file. You can access that and print out all the stuff on the screen. Halfway through, we decided that we're going to do bagels too, so now we have to append bagels to the entire system already. And we're going to calculate sales for each flavor for the past hour. Have a table that is organized by how well each donut has sold. As customers come in and order donuts, we'll add them to a dictionary with their emails, and after they make 10 purchases, they'll get an email offer for free donut balls. And after a customer remembers us makes a purchase, they'll get a feedback form to give us the feedback on the shop.
Right, so I was the iteration planner, and I was of course tasked with giving estimates for how long I thought each task would take. Most of them were only like a day or a day and a half because most of our tasks were pretty simple. Overall, we just had a lot of them and we split them up. There were some that were longer, like for example, keeping track of supplies in the warehouse because they'll be monitoring packages, and that's useless. Another one is the sales, like that's a lot of different numbers we're looking at. We're looking at like sales by type, sales overall, profits by type, like most popular $1. So there's a lot of just little bits that kind of make up in one sort of task. So with this in mind, I added on, and I got a rough estimate about 30.5 days, about a month. With velocity, that's 43.5 days. So we decided to split each iteration up into 15 days, 3 iterations. And of course it's based on priority user.
So, I went to Jacob and decided that I had to take all these tasks and test them out and see if I got the right output for each iteration. So, we need to see, once the store needed more kale from the manufacturer, we needed to see how long the shipping should take, and if we needed to change the supplies warehouse, like if they were selling kale cheaper or anything like that, we could take it from there instead of more expensive place. And we should check if the amount of kale is less than 1.25 tons, the kale supplier should be contacted with valid information of the purchase. And once we get the kale, age counter starts going up, and then we'll throw out the kale if it's after 2 days, not right at 2 days, because we'll lose more kale that way, and that's losing money. price of the kale from the manufacturers will be sort of, like I said, we want to find the cheapest kale on the market within 3 manufacturers near us. And then, once we're making the donuts, we should go into the text file, print out all the 10 lines of code, and make sure the donuts are made with perfection. And then with iteration 2, the test should, these are the tests that were made to make sure everything was output correctly. So most number of the stock should not be equal or greater to 12, so we should not have just a dozen donuts in a donut shop. It just doesn't make sense. Display message when we're lower than that. And then the total sales from the first function should equal the sum of the sales of each type. Income should be multiplied by each donut type. You should use the correct price. So this is saying that each donut should be having the same price, and then summed up all the sales of each type into the table. So we know which type of donut is most popular and all this. Each hour we'll have an update on how many kale donuts have been sold, and then it'll sum up all the prices of the donuts that were sold. And then if it should be greater than or equal to the number of transactions in the last hour. Okay, so with the database, an employee should have their ID, and with their ID, it should show how many donuts they have sold that day. So if we see that, subtract the amount of donuts that were sold from him, and if it doesn't zero out, we have a unloyal employee. So it should be, yes, this you want that, yes. Bagels should properly appear on any lists and transactions. Warehouse should also be able to order and ship bagels just like kale and kale donuts. So if we need bagels, take it from the cheapest manufacturers so we make money. Okay, so with our membership, the emails should be in the proper format. Once they have received the donut holes, their counter should be used to 0 so they can build up more transactions and reach that free donut. And then with the emails, it should specify which product has been bought, the quantity, and the date. And it should list how many points that member has gotten up to. And whatever we should do next time, issues.
All right, very good job, guys. All right, so you decided to expand also into offering bagels, is that correct? Is that kale bagels?
That was great.
You said after the 10th purchase, you were going to offer people free donut holes, is that correct? Kale?
Kale, everything.
Do you have
bagels? More.
And if a kale donut was actually available to you, would you actually eat it? Let's try it.
I'll try it.
I thought about trying to make
Kale smoothie and help wash it all down.
That could possibly be a good thing. All right, do we have questions for them? Questions? Good job, guys. Very well done.